Welcome to another video in Project Pack number 8.
Hi, this is Maria,
And my name is Rick.
and this is these guys handed me one of the which tiles to work with, and I got the pre-strung Zendalas in the black, and there are 9 pre-strung Zendala patterns, but each of you each got 2 different ones. So I had the project of trying to figure out what tile to do that we could do on every single one of them, and I think I got it. So what we're going to
So
do,
that first one that had lots of tiny spaces, let's set that aside for now.
yeah, and on this first string, you can see the string there. If this is one of your tiles, you're going to start out. We're going to make more sections. So we're going to start with by adding a circle in each one of the big sections on this tile, and we're going to separate them in with a tangle called well. And well is a magical pattern. We use it a lot, and it's especially good for this type of thing. You're going to want to go clockwise down around that circle and then hit a corner. So there's 3 corners on each one of these. You're going to turn your tile, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go clockwise around that circle and then go to the corner. So you can see how I'm going to start, and I'm going to retrace the circle clockwise, and I'm going to hit the corner there. Take your time. This is a wonderful pattern to have in your back pocket for all kinds of uses. I use it a lot.
You're going almost as slow as I do here.
Well, I'm trying really hard to go slow. My automatic pilot is like 5-10 times as fast.
And if you have a different string, we're going to go through, or Maria's going to go through all the different strings.
What I was hoping to do on working with these pre-strung Zendalas is to not really pay attention to the star-esque-ness of a Zendala. Usually you do patterns in a star-type pattern, and that's what Zendalas are. And the way we had them set up with the strings and everything, that's how you do it. But we're going to ignore that, and we're just going to fill 6 different tangles in all different random places on each one of the tiles. So it's going to be a more random, more artistic, organic looking thing rather than metered and star-like. Okay, so this first one is a version of Muka. I put down with that lavender color, that first tendril, and I'm going in with the blue-green pen, and I'm going to fill in that background or around that beautiful Muka, and then we're going to color in the background. So the whole thing to me, working with these pens, especially on the black, is that you want to make masses of color as much as you can. So most of the tangles that I worked with, I tried to use blocks of color, where we don't usually do that with black and white so much. So the first time I'm showing you this, I went back and forth with the lavender and the blue-green, but you could do all lavender and then all blue-green, and you'd still have the same reaction. I just wanted to see how it went together.
And also notice that little gap, the way the aura is maintained with the blue-green. It gives that nice contrast.
So when we aura here, what it's doing, and it's leaving a little black line between the lavender and the blue, and it has almost a feeling like a woodcut or an ancient printmaking method that has a really beautiful sense of style to it that I really like.
So notice that Maria just added a color on top. Just make sure the underlaying color is dry first.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this same tangle on a few different um, pre-strung sandals that you might have one or two, just so you can see how differently they'll look. And adding in that blue-green in the background. And you can see I'm going to just do random ones here and there and have fun with this. Twist it, turn it. It doesn't have to go in the same direction or have any make sense at all. It doesn't have to be balanced. Let's just do these true random, beautiful Zentangle style.
Yeah, you might even like close your eyes and spin it and put your finger down and see where it goes,
Make your own little spinners, huh?
right?
I had fun doing these. And the more I did, the more I got that feeling of how these jelly rolls work and how different they are than the microns. It's just a whole different animal.
Yeah, and there's so much to explore. This video this particular day is in two parts because there was so much. And in this first one, we'll set up, work with all the tiles, and then you'll see some of the direction Maria took it and how she finished them.
So at first I was going to say you can choose your own colors as you're working, but it might make it more complicated than it needed to be. So if you want to follow along with the same colors, if you know, or you might just take a chance and do it differently. This tangle here, I don't really have a name for it, but it's sort of like what did you say? It's
It's like a motif.
like a motif. Um, it's almost like a kite on a string. And I just thought I wanted something a little straighter and more angular compared to that muka of the last one. So again, we're going to put this down, and it's basically in the same way as we just did the muka on the other previous tangle.
And again, notice that slight gap, that aura gap, how much that adds to it.
That gap is going to play an important part in all the different tangles that we do here. Now, when I do my fill-in, you don't have to have it solid color. I kind of like that look, like it's carved in there, that there's a little bit of texture. And you may disagree with me and then want to go back later and add more color. It's up to you. So you can see here, I'm sort of paying attention to the string, but I'm going to go out of the
Outside the
confines,
border, yeah.
outside the border, and that's what strings are like. You know, they're happy to help you out, and they're happy if you ignore them. Not a lot of people feel that way.
Right. And also, to keep pointing the same thing out, but notice when she did the drawing behind of that little kite motif, she maintained the aura. So already there's that separation there.
Right. So there's still that black line between when it goes behind in that hollow bar way.
So these are some of the, little tricks that revealed themselves in working with these pens.
Now this is the pen that has the orange tip on it, but they call it light brown. So I'm going to refer to it as light brown in case you ever want to buy this color again. Sakura has very definite reasons for naming their colors, and we have to kind of stick with that. But it's a beautiful contrast with the green, and it's actually the color of our walls in our kitchen.
It looks really
Which was
nice.
called Barn Rose. So that was 40-something years ago when I painted it. One of my favorite colors. So a complex pink or pinkish brown color.
So see how Maria is following the string with that background color, even though those kite motifs just sprung right outside the string. So you can play with it, and particularly with these pens, it just goes right over it. So the string is there and it's not there.
Right. So some of the lighter colors you want to go maybe once or twice to bolden the color on there. These are pretty too. See how it's kind of looped around? That's kind of pretty.
Mm.
They're kind of kite-like. I like that.
Yeah, kite and leaf and that little
Cleef.
cleef. A cleef shape. Okay.
Yeah. So you can see in what it reminds me of that furniture design sense from the turn of the century. What was that?
Oh, like at that restaurant
Art
we went to?
Deco. Yeah,
Right.
the Art Deco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got this beautiful Art Deco book at this store, and it's beautiful, beautiful designs and patterns.
So this next tangle, we're going to work with Tripoli, and I'm using again this light brown color, and we're going to fill in this section with Tripoli. You're going to aura the triangle, aura, aura, and then move off to your next two sides. And
Yes,
then,
so the way Molly teaches that is like, pick a side, aura it.
yeah, pick a side, aura. So aura that very carefully, and then the other two sides, you can go anywhere you want, depending on where you want to go. So aura, carefully, and then two sides. You can see I was ignoring the string a little bit there because I can. It's just such a powerful thing to be able to do. And I got one more down here.
That consistency of the gap really adds to the character.
So we're going to take this blue-green pen and we're going to do some little, almost like a crescent moon shape. But don't run ahead of me because we're not going to do crescent moon. It almost looks like cheese in a cartoon movie.
Or those, those little mints that would be on paper at Easter,
Oh
and you
yeah,
would
yeah,
peel them off.
yeah. I don't even know if they still make those.
I don't, probably not.
I love those. I don't even like
Probably a
candy.
choking hazard.
Yeah. Okay, so with the light brown, we're going to go behind there, and yeah, Swiss cheese. And it's so fun coloring in here. The colors just sort of pop off the black so nicely.
Yeah, very nice contrast.
So you can go in and add a little bit more here and there depending on how much color you want to add.
So now we'll try it on another tile. Oops, you went outside the line, babe.
Yes, I know. So what I'm going to do, if you watch here, I'm going to do a major section made up of 1, 2, 3, 3 sections that are there. This teaches you to use your string in different ways. It's still a suggestion, and
So you're going outside some of the lines, but using other lines.
so this might seem to not make sense to you, but when you see it all done, it's pretty impressive. So be patient.
Yeah, and you might think that when you're all done, consider going back and looking at these early stages and then comparing it with what it ended up with, and also understand that none of this was planned either. This is
I'm imprompting.
right, imprompting it. Yes.
Or is it impromptuing?
Impromptuing.
Yeah. Here comes the little crescent moons with the blue-green. I love this this blue-green color.
Yeah, particularly against the black.
Mm.
So again, Maria's playing with some of the rules, quote unquote, in not putting, one of those shapes on every single side of the Tripoli,
Right.
which is what we'd normally do. Then aura with a nice little gap.
So you'll notice on some of these, it'll appear like there are more of one tangle than another, and that was fine with me. I just wanted to just go along. Okay, so here is tangle number
Next.
4, the next one, and it's a version of the Tangle Gorgeous. If any, I think we came up with that around Thanksgiving time a few years back, and it's sort of inspired by a pumpkin, or okay, this is the yellow ochre color we're using, yellow ochre,
Yeah, sort of like a gourd.
like a gourd or a pumpkin. Would have those ridges around it, and they get plumpy, and they sort of grow in really wild, voluptuous curves.
So this is what one looks like on the inside, maybe.
Yeah, so if there was like a little pie slice taken out of the middle, this is what it would look like with the seeds
A
inside.
little bit of tipple seeds. Yeah, and if you go to the website and just go to the newsletters and search for Gorgeous, spelled Gourd.
Geous. So here we're taking the lavender pen. Imagine a lavender gourd. How cool is that? And we're going to start those little ripples of, what do you call those?
Well, it's a texture that
Yeah.
you'll see like on pumpkins or in anything like that.
But you can force them to go in different directions just by where the bumps are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Love that.
So it's alternating colored and not colored. And you can actually make them fit into sections even if they go out. So you can see how she's playing with that, filling those spaces in. Sort of like I heard that in I think it was in Japan, they would grow watermelons in these square boxes.
so that they could put them in a box?
Right, so it was like...
Oh, they could stack them.
And they could ship them with less lost space.
How funny is that? So these are gourds on steroids, right?
Right. And definitely not in a square box.
No.
But notice the rhythm of Maria, just the rhythm of the strokes and just going back and forth. And here's another. Now you can just grow it in this other direction.
I know.
I love it.
I have no shame.
Well, it's the characteristic of this plant is, constantly being discovered.
So we're going to show you it in a couple of different places where it went crazy.
In different shapes, yeah. So again, this is just basic aura, filling in, tipple.
You can see I'm just manipulating those waves almost like a seashell at times.
But as much as you ignore the string, you're also taking inspiration from it. I love that.
Right. Sometimes when you sit down to do a Zentangle tile, you just want you want it to tell you what to do. And that's when you pick up one of these. You just, I don't know where to start, I don't know where to go. And it just pushes you into places you probably wouldn't have thought of. So I'm just adding some highlights here with this bright yellow.
What's it called?
Oh, that's the
Yellow ochre?
the ochre, yellow ochre.
So look at what she did here. I love this. Look at that. Because just by playing with different shapes, right, and not doing it symmetrically.
Almost like an angelfish flying,
Look at that. That's
swimming by.
beautiful. And look at how just those little highlight dots play so beautifully.
Oh, wait till you see them shaded, though. They're going to be awesome. I couldn't help but do that, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, what was the next tangle?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
we're doing printemps, which is one of the first tangles we teach when we teach a beginner's class. And it's a spiral, learning to spiral out nice and slowly with beautiful auras, and then learning to stack them one behind the other, which is really cool. So I'm taking my time, and I start right in the middle, and it looks like those auras are getting a little bit further apart as you go along, because I'm hoping to do a little bit of color in there. So this takes a nice focus that'll bring you into a nice meditation. I love the simplicity of printemps. So I start my next spiral right up close, so it's obvious that it's going behind. So then when you hit that first one, you just stop and go around, go behind it.
These are nice, big, resonant ones. I love it. So it shows that almost any tangle can be done in different directions. You can stay within the line. You can go outside. Nice.
So with that blue-green color, I'm going in and putting some little dots or little squares. I can't see them. And
It's like a set of perfs there.
yeah, just to add an unexpected burst of color, which is what these pens are all about. And you would think that they wouldn't show up, but it shows up really nicely.
And, sort of just doing a little bit. It's like these little inset turquoise gems where they use like little fine bits of turquoise. So we'll take a look at a few of the other strung tiles and see what we do with those.
This has sort of a filigree look to it, huh? Like if you held it up in front of the light would come through. Like it was done in gold, like
Looks like
pressed
jewelry.
gold.
I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
So you can see how she's being very asymmetrical about her placement there. Okay, and this one.
This one is a reticular fragment, sort of.
So
Almost like fife, but with a
right.
reticular. So we're doing a basic square reticula, and I'm going to put these rice shapes in here, and being careful not to go too close to the crosshairs there,
Mm-hmm.
so that it has a nice fine place where it gets together. If you make them too fat towards the end, you don't have that delicate narrowing.
They don't come to a point.
Right. So after we put them all going perpendicular and vertical,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to go on the diagonal with the blue-green pen.
With the same way, like keeping that point just hovering away.
Mm-hmm. And then turning your tile and going behind, but you're going to leave, again, that a little bit of a black line behind there.
See, so if you've got that clear over and under sense.
Right. It's very pretty. These colors just sing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going in with, what color is that? That brown,
Mm-hmm.
light brown color, and just a kind of little dots in there to add something to the composition. Just lightly. That's so pretty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So we'll add that on another one of the pre-strung. And then wait till you see the next, because Maria's going to finish all of these. And
That's tomorrow, right?
No, actually, it's
Gonna
all
be
today. It's all
it's
today.
all today?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Well,
so again, I'm going to tell you to make those little rice shapes. And you can see they're not quite going to the corners. Make them a little, it makes them more delicate.
but she combined a few spaces there for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can combine all different spaces. You may have different strings, and you'll see how fun this can get. Thanks for hanging with this, and we will see you on the next one, part B of this today's series.
Okay. See you later.
See you in a bit.
Bye.